Every veteran has a story, some filled with sacrifice, some filled with struggle, some with triumph. This is a place where stories are heard. From service to survival, from battlefields to brotherhood. Welcome to Warfighters United. Real veterans, real conversations with real impact. Welcome to Warfighters United. Today, my special guest is Jon Sofronas. He's a Navy corpsman. He's got 6 deployments. He's one of a Marine's best friend and a life partner, because when we get wounded, our corpsmen are the ones who save our lives to get us to where we need to be so other doctors can work on us when we're in combat. Jon, welcome to the show.
Eric, man, thank you for having me, brother. It's
an
honor to be here, man.
Yeah, you are a founder of Corpsman Compass.
Check.
Right? Tell me about Corpsman Compass. Tell me about Corpsman Compass.
Corpsman Compass. It's a True North project, and the foundation of it actually stemmed from a lot of nonprofit work. Having retired from Department of Veterans Affairs, regional office, Vision 1, I was a decision review officer, senior rating specialist. And I'm telling you, the bureaucracy started getting to my soul. So I started founding programs, resourcing with like-minded people, yourself, and we can get into that Semper Fi Odyssey moment. But Corpsman Compass essentially offers all of the programs that VA does not currently offer. How do we expect an 85-year-old Parkinsonian, the Vietnam veteran with Parkinsonianism, to use a computer to go to va.gov? We have a computer program that we give to veterans, teach them how to use it. Programs for spouses that have no clue as to how to go about if their husband, their wife is, killed in action and so forth. We offer camaraderie that is desperately needed to avoid reclusive behavior, period. Empowering veterans to better themselves so that they're not burying themselves in a bottle of Jack and playing Call of Duty all day. And we both know what inclusion looks like. Mm-hmm. And we've both been through some pretty awesome programs. And so I hope to echo and complement those as best as I can, because they're the motivational piece to why I'm doing what I'm doing and why you're doing your
right. A lot of things about Warfighters United. We offer, 7-day transitional programs, hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment through a lot of great nonprofits throughout the nation. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
A decade ago, you showed up at Semper Fi Odyssey, and when I heard about some of your issues of things that you were going through, immediately I came and found you, and I said, "Hey, have you ever heard of this?" It was like a light bulb went on, because I had just went through the hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment.
Right.
And, I saw the benefits it did for me, not only for TBI, but for my PTSD.
Right.
And when I saw you, I started telling you about it, and you didn't even know it existed, right?
Right.
We were up at Semper Fi Odyssey, which is a great 7-day transitional program. Started by General Jones. It was the Marine Corps' bread and butter for our wounded. Yeah. Whether we're sitting there, whether it be in Camp Lejeune, Camp Pendleton, 29 Palms with the Wounded Warrior Regiment, they would send all their guys out to, Pennsylvania, to Semper Fi Odyssey. It's a free 7-day course for anybody that has served in the military. If you're having transitional issues, you're having, PTSD issues, TBI issues, or if you don't know how to readapt to community, General Jones has created a great program out there. And, you and I have both been a part of that now for quite a long time.
Decades.
Sending veterans out there, being assistant team leaders, learning the special triangle,
SMEAC.
Yep, SMEAC, situation, mission, execution, admin, logistics, and communication.
Right.
How do you put that into your life, right? And so tell me what Semper Fi Odyssey has done for you, Jon.
I will, but you the caveat real quick, that bond that Eric, that you just talked about is earned. There's no greater love than that of a corpsman and a Marine, period. I don't care where you serve, that bond is enormous. So who does a Marine call if their son is sick, right? While on active duty, they call their doc before they call a doctor.
Yes.
You don't fall out of a hump. You don't fall out. You maltreat a Marine. You lose that respect. So that respect is something that a lot of us hold on to, and again, is the foundation of Corpsman Compass, a True North project. That same camaraderie, that foundation, you get out of service. Now, what do? Where do you go? Right? So you went into Semper Fi Odyssey. I had thyroid cancer. I had a stroke. I had brain lesions and encephalopathy, and I have a demyelinating plaque in my gray matter. Now, 9 IEDs, rockets, we all have our story. Multiple combat deployments. They picked me up, scooped me up like I was oatmeal, brother. I mean, we know other guys that are quad amputees and so forth, no clue where to go. And VA can tell you all day long, and having worked for them, feeling alone is really the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So Semper Fi Odyssey, General Jones' foundation, and quite honestly, I don't think there's a person I've met that could do that program better than that man does. I mean, when unfortunately we lost Dan Pultz, and God bless him, man. I mean, Team TBI, and I served.
That's the University of Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh.
I believe so.
University of Pittsburgh has Team TBI. And when guys who had severe TBI came down to Semper Fi Odyssey, the first thing they did was put them in Dan's group. And the next thing that Dan did, Dan said, okay, after the 7 days, if you want to go to Team TBI, we will send you there. It won't cost you anything. We will get you in the program, and we will make sure you're taken care of. And that doesn't happen very often. So
having known you up there a couple times, so I went up. I had to go to Walter Reed, learn how to walk and everything else again. Nonetheless, when I had gone up there to Semper Fi Odyssey, I had seen you. We were joking, whatever the case was. Oh, you were this unit, whatever. But then you found me. You came over to me, and you were like, "Hey, I heard of this program that is phenomenal for TBI." And at the time, VA had no treatment for TBI, and to the day, they don't offer treatment.
Still, they don't. But we're fighting that.
And I hope to speak to that too, some of the things that have already been done and what you're working on. But the 118th National TBI Treatment Act is there. It's too long to get into right now, but you found me and you said, "Hey Doc, man, you got to go down to 22 Project." So we're at a program in Pennsylvania, 7-day transitional program. I think at that point, assistant team leaders, and you snagged me up, you found me, and you're like, "This is the Marine helping the Doc." Again, I want to emphasize that foundation, that network. What are you going to do if you wake up and you don't have your team leader with you? How are you going to function? Team leader, figuratively speaking, could be anybody, a friend, a corporal, or whomever. So the camaraderie piece is essential. You found me, told me about this program. At the time, I was taking trazodone, all these other meds, polypharmacy. And I'll tell you, I mean, that was life-changing. 30 days, 22 Project run by Alex Cruz and Erica. They started it on their own. It's now, I referenced the 118th National TBI Treatment Act because in 2021, it had been, after I came home, 30 days down in Southern Florida, 2 80-minute dives a day. The camaraderie, the spiritual component, you come back, and through neuroplasticity, building new cells in the brain, now you start to be able to play with your daughter and your kids without passing out or having to take a breather. Now you can go on a jet ski and not have to worry about, am I going to have another TBI? Oh, I'm exaggerating, but my theory, my point. And that was, again, tip of the spear programs outside of the military that created this fire team.
I tell you what, when I was misdiagnosed with TBI and I finally came out of the 30-day inpatient ward, and I came back to Michigan, and my assistant team leader from Semper Fi Fund, Jasper Heelig, he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of this program?" I said, "No, I've never heard of this program." He got me interlinked with Alex, and I went down to the 22 Project. I did, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for a whole month.
Phenomenal.
And before, when they gave me that scan, and then the doctor said, "Oh, you have this, this, and this," and he started going through it, everything over the last 15 years kind of made sense because I wasn't diagnosed with TBI until that point.
Right.
But then when they started saying that the emotional centers, these things were damaged, I started saying, wow, over the last 15 years, it wasn't just I was crazy.
Right.
There was actually brain damage that was hurt, things that happened that caused some of this.
Right.
And wow, it really made it full circle. And out of the 1,000 or so vests that 22 Project has helped out, I'm sure there's way more than just me that everything made sense. And so, with that camaraderie piece you're talking about, veterans listen to veterans. 100%. Word of mouth is key. They don't listen to people who haven't been there or haven't done this. And, so if you're a veteran out there and you're looking for a transitional program, there's two. There's Semper Fi Odyssey in Pennsylvania at no cost to you. There's Focus Marines Foundation, which is in St. Louis. That's another 7-day transitional program
that we both went to.
Both been to.
Didn't even know that you had been there prior to SFO.
Well, yep. And then you got the 22 Project.
Right.
Those are 3 great organizations that have probably done more for me than anywhere else. Right.
Now, one of the things you nailed it. I just want to add another caveat is we don't. A lot of providers say there's no ability to delineate. That word is so highly used in medicine to delineate symptomatology of PTSD or PTS and TBI. When we rate, and as a senior rating specialist, when I make those decisions on compensation claims or made, I was able, not only as a veteran, I can feel what symptoms are TBI related and what symptoms are PTS related. But that's not something that can be established. So if you're a vet, and you're looking for the opportunity to be able to know more about yourself, know more about what it is that you wake up with every day, and know how to fix it. Eric just nailed those 3 programs are tip of the spear. And there are others, right? Mind Spa. VA offers a risk program, right? WRIISC, War Related Injury Service Center, I believe. It's a research program. And there's a lot of inpatient programs as well. But that stigma associated with it, the goal is let's delineate and let's find out what symptoms are attributed to what. And let's empower veterans to take control, not let a provider or a doc at the comp and pen exam tell you. Because remember, they're not there to treat you. They're there to take a snapshot. Now, your provider that you see at the VA, ask them about these programs. I just found out amazing things about hyperbaric oxygen, that it's approved if you have 18 diagnoses.
Right.
Again, 118th National TBI Treatment Act, 119th Congress has amended it as well. What I hope to do with you is establish, and within Corpsman Compass, a True North project, caveat off of DVUF, seeing 6,000.
So what is DVUF?
Yeah, DVUF, Disabled Veterans United Foundation, founded with another Marine I had met down in 22 Project. That was the first nonprofit work that I had done. The co-founder, Mark Pike, he's the founder of that organization. And we have an amazing compensation program, VA compensation. I saw in 18 months, and I say I saw, like sitting like this, 6,921 veterans, 98% of whom are at 100% right now, 2% of whom are waiting on their disposition, their claims. So the focus is helping navigate the VA compensation process. I don't want to spend too much time on the compensation process because it can get convoluted, but if there are any questions about it, please check out dvuf.org. Or you can go to JDoc at corpsmanscompass.com.
Yeah, that's great information to have. And when you were talking about the hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment, a lot of people don't understand what that is. But it's 100% oxygen. The only thing that makes it through the blood barrier in your brain. It's the least invasive thing that a veteran can do with the most amount of progress that I've ever seen. There are no side effects.
Right.
It helps cure the brain. It doesn't cure it for, long periods of time. You have to keep doing it, which is half the battle. But right now, we have 13 states in the United States that are providing pilot programs for traumatic brain injury and PTSD. And we're hoping Michigan is going to be number 4. Right now, Michigan's got House Bill 5456 and 5457, which is about to be voted on by the House. And, that's $1.5 million pilot program to provide 150 to 200 veterans hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment to add on to what the other 13 states are already doing. Right. So we can make TBI and PTSD a proven treatment for hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment. And I tell you, that is such an important aspect. When we talk about the suicide rates, they say 22, we think 44.
Right.
Right? There's a lot of things that aren't into play in that.
Right.
But, not giving medications and being, drugged up forever.
Check.
Getting 100% oxygen, and it's half the battle. When they put a new pharmaceutical drug on the market, it maybe takes 3 months, 6 months to get it approved. And then it's mass produced and it's given to humans, civilization. And, when we come to them with a treatment that's not $1 billion organization, $1 million, and it's just pure oxygen, all of a sudden it's at least a 5-year study, at least this, why is it that pharmaceuticals and drugs can be, okay for the public, causing, fatalities, causing suicides, causing, all these contraindications. But then you have hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment that doesn't kill anybody. It's not harmful. Done the right way in the right, facilities, overlooked, making sure nothing happens, because there has been 2 deaths over the last 10 years, but that was because of the malfunction of people using the machines.
Sure.
It was human error. It wasn't the oxygen. And yet now we've been fighting this battle for over 5 to 10 years.
Well, hey, so Devil, listen, this is one of the key components to it that a lot of people don't know, is an endocrinology clinic or a wound management clinic. Now, Echelon 1, we're talking Fallujah on the ground. Echelon 1, you're there, you're doc, you're treating. You don't have hyperbaric oxygen. Mm-hmm. You're 2 large bore IVs, you're treating out of your, King LT tube, your Diamondback Tactical blowout kit, whatever the case may be. You get them Echelon 2 treatment. They have wound management, and you've seen it, wound management centers with HBOT on the front line. Fallujah Surgical had HBOT units for wound management. Long term, the majority, Launch Stool, Echelon 3, they have, again, wound management. So they're using it for wound management. Why does it work so well? I could explain that scientifically, but the short way is neuroplasticity. Mm-hmm. You have dead brain cells that are impacted by IED, rocket exposure, mortar exposure, a blast injury. You fell, per VA guidelines, 5 feet with loss of consciousness, 10 feet without loss of consciousness, constitutes a TBI under 38 CFR. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that we have in endocrinology, we as VA has in endocrinology clinics. So if you're diabetic, you go there. In internal medicine clinics, we have medical grade oxygen. All we are asking to do is think, review, think about what we're saying. It works. We've tried it. And we have relationships with our family. My fiance and I reunited after 30 years. And I don't think that she would jump in and want to be, together with a monster who doesn't know how to control their symptoms. And that's a whole separate topic altogether. But understanding why is it that we feel the way we feel and what makes us feel better, that's huge.
Talking about that too, the transitioning of going from active duty military to a veteran. Like I thought it was very hard. When I got out in 2006, it was, trying to live in the civilian world was like, being off in left field, not, I don't want to be around these people. I'd rather sit here and drink and drink.
You wanted that camaraderie.
Right. And it wasn't for years. I mean, it wasn't during that time frame, the wars were still going on, and And I remember going from active duty to I'm about to have my first kid. Right? And I was like, man, you know, I can barely deal with society, let alone how do I and that's what really got my boat to turning and my wheels to turning of okay, I need to get help. I need to do something.
Check.
And for many military members when they get out, you know, it takes them an average of 5 years to even want to be a part of something.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, being expecting to hold down a job, do this, do that. And especially there are guys that have got multiple deployments. I mean, you got 6, you know, with 2-8.
Yeah,
you know, which, you know, you were in a lot of, you know, voracious battles,
Sure.
You know, and, you know, coming back to realizing that you're not in the military anymore. That's a really hard pill to swallow.
It's the biggest transition in my life. I'll tell you straight. I loved what I did. I had thyroid cancer in 2006. Shortly thereafter, coming back from Fallujah, I remember it well. I mean, literally going in for an MRI because I had tinnitus, and they found that thyroid cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a story I want to share. We're in Michigan right now,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, there's an amazing story about a full circle and how this all happened. Eric and I, as he had mentioned, you know, we have the camaraderie, and we met each other up at Separate File Odyssey. And I told him about Corpsman Compass. He's like, hey, if you're up in Michigan, come on by, whatever the case may be. I said, most definitely. And, you know, so I had within DVUF, Disabled Veterans, you know, Foundation, Disabled Veterans United Foundation. I had seen, in the beginning, veterans here and there, a couple veterans to the left, to the right. The point I am trying to make with regards, I had dropped some business cards off at the Navy Lodge in Newport, Rhode Island. A veteran happened to pick them up 15 minutes later, called me on the phone, and he said, I just got your card, which I had just given to the Navy Lodge. Again, Naval Health Clinic, New England, Newport.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for recreation, so for maybe a TAPS brief or whatever. And he calls me and he says he needs help because his son needs a heart transplant. I said, are you in Newport now? So all I have with me is my undergrad, my skill set, you know, and working for VA, and an idea of wanting to work helping veterans. Meanwhile, I'm watching Jocko Willink's Good every morning to get myself out of bed because I'm reclusive, I'm depressed, but I'm still moving.
Mm-hmm.
Because small unit leadership teaches us the foundation and the principles of discipline and motivation.
If you're not moving, you're dead.
That's it.
You
But
know,
I
one
needed
step
that. I
in front.
needed that video. So I respect to Jocko, brother. Appreciate you. It helped a lot of us. So I see this gentleman, and he and I are now face to face, and his son needs a heart transplant. So I reach out. I have some networks. I get him on this list. He gets that transplant eventually. I think it was 8 months. Nonetheless, drops my business card off in California. I get a call like a week and a half later from a gentleman named Arthur, Vietnam veteran, Getlin's Corner, same as Dan Bolts.
Dan Bolts.
Nonetheless, Dempsey dumpster, hydraulic failure, TBI, knocks him out. At the time, I think it was 67, 68, I believe, ends up getting a 20% offering for service connection, which he took. And that was all.
That's all he lived at.
Despite the 38 CFR 3.7, 3.309, which talks about presumptive conditions,
Mm-hmm.
of which he had 85% of them, 90%. So lung cancer, ischemic heart disease, diabetes. So I go to California. I take the intake, an 8-hour intake. I fly out to California, own dime, nonprofit. I meet with this man. He picks up my card at that restaurant where that gentleman had dropped, I think his name was Mike. He dropped off the card. What is the likelihood of that happening? So he calls me. I'm now in California, the San Diego area, and as I'm helping him get set up with a case manager, so forth, he's telling me about other things, and I'm helping him file a claim. I'm not a VSO. This is just one vet connecting
to another vet.
Yeah. On the plane, I have a service dog, and I am on the plane, and the longest flight for Carmen, my service dog, so she defecated on the airplane. I had no idea that I was being videoed. So 7 days later, I go back to I'm in the airport in San Diego, and I get approached by the Asian American Real Estate Association of America. I'm telling the story for a reason. Bear with me. Doc can go on a tangent. Bring me back in, brother. But anyways, so I get approached. I don't know the Asian American Real Estate Association of America. I'm a Stapleton Corpsman. Hoorah. I don't know these people. So nonetheless, they come over to me and they say, oh my gosh, we're so happy we saw you again. We found you. So I'm, okay. They had posted this video that went viral on their system of the way that I handled Carmen.
Well, speaking about
on the airplane,
service dogs are huge. I'm a big proponent. I was veteran mistreated by U.S. Airways in 2014, which, got us to make the Michigan service dog laws, right? So Michigan has service dog laws for our veterans and civilians that have service dogs. So that way our police can actually do something about it when they tell us no.
Right.
And service dogs, you're talking about Carmen. What has Carmen done for you?
My goodness. So stability. Right, she can find my keys, my wallet, trained by Operation Delta Dog. So again, Eric and I focus on talking about organizations that are vetted, that we have sat with, we have gone through. Operation Delta Dog is a nationally recognized organization. Mm-hmm. Sometimes how it looks.
Right. You got SierraDelta.com too.
Right.
Anybody who's a veteran or has just served, that's the only prerequisite, can get up to $3,500 to train their dog. They don't have to be service dogs. They're looking after 10% of Americans need service dogs. The other 90% have therapy dogs and this and that. But that 90% of veterans that don't need a service dog can still get that grant through SierraDelta.com. These are organizations, again, that we are telling you about, that you can look up, you can apply for, and you can get.
We can put a list up too as well at some point. The Semperfi Fund has resources regarding. But what Carmen does ultimately for me and over the last 7 years, again, stability, assistance with waking me up if I identifying an ill pattern of sleep. So assist with sleep apnea, a variety of things that you wouldn't even fathom. But we know they work. And the PAWS Act is enacted still. It's in VA's and system, and the hope is that
the VA has come a long way with their dogs.
They really have.
Over the last decade, I've seen a huge change. I don't think I've went to the VA without seeing at least one dog in there every time I go. And when I first started at the VA, it was obtuse. You didn't really see a dog, and when they did, they saw my dog.
Right.
And it was and I tell you, from the last 15 years to now, the difference that has been made, not only with, service dogs or dogs, you take your dog to Home Depot now. Yeah. I remember during COVID, I'd go to the store with my service dog and they'd give me a hard time.
Right.
But they do a great help for PTSD, TBI.
Oh, it's money.
Mobility issues. you name it. There's a slew of things. You got TAV.org. You got Guardian Angels. You got Sierra Delta. You got
Delta Dog.
Delta Dog. These are all reputable organizations.
And if you have a pup, and let's say you can't afford that medical bill, she just had cancer. My service dog had a lesion that was lymphatic cancer of some level, and they wanted to take half of her face off. I'd have to retire her and so on. The prosthetics department in the VA will help with this process. So find your polytrauma case coordinator or a caseworker, and they will navigate that for you. But I want to pay some tribute to Michigan, right? So
Uh-huh.
in that story I was saying, real quick.
On the back end of that story, you met with them.
Yeah, so I'm at the airport again, and heading home to Boston area.
Yeah.
And I get approached, and I see this video, and it's of me and Carmen. Now, I didn't know, or Carmen for you non-Bostonians. Right. So, anyways, I'm there, and I'm talking to these him and his sister, who is the Bank of America's executive director for the administration of funds to nonprofit and ancillary programs and services. It's a likelihood. So they said, would you come to our gala? We were so impressed by the way that you handled that. I said, sure. So now this is the Michigan piece. Never been to Michigan prior to. I would have come to visit you at any day, go hunting, whatever the case, man. I'm so happy I'm here now because of the treatment that I'm about to explain from my fiance, who's just dealing now with the same cancer I had, the thyroid cancer. So I do this gala in Boston at the Boston Land Rover and Jaguar dealership. I'm their keynote speaker. I speak a little about Fallujah and what that was like with 125. By the way, it's our 20th anniversary. So RCT 5, 1st Battalion, 25th Marines, Nightmare 2. My last deployment with those warriors, the 11 that we lost. May God bless you. Your service is never forgotten, and we have assumed your watch. Hoorah! I will tell you that never a day goes by that I don't think about something relative, whether it's me trying to get on a train because I lived at the train station at the time, or whether it's just thinking about a happy moment that I had with Captain McKenna Glover or Doc Walsh, whatever the case may be. And I know you can feel that. Well, Rex, who was the owner or the manager of that Land Rover, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even be able to tell you that, unless you and I were sitting over a beer. That's the point I'm trying to make, is I feel the emotion, but I'm able to ground myself right now. I know I'm in a room with you, and you and I are talking some serious stuff, and they're in my mind, but I'm safe, mm-hmm. Right? So I'm at this gala in Boston. This guy Rex comes over to me. He goes, "You know Jim Wigington?" I said, "Negative." He goes, "You need to know him." He goes, "I was inspired by what you had said." And he gives me his number. I call Jim. Jim lives here in Michigan. He is a part of the 777, 7 jumps, Marine, 7 continents, whatnot.
In 7 days.
7 days. And he had lost his wife to metastatic thyroid cancer. He had come out to New England, and he was on a journey to climb each of the highest buildings. When I say climb, the steps inside, mm-hmm. And he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for climbing every building, the highest building in every state. Yeah. So I assisted him with, again, networking with those buildings in Vermont, Boston, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and so forth, Maine. Nonetheless, Jim and I kept in contact. Hey, Devil, how you doing? What's going down? How, basic pleasantries. This past Christmas, my fiance gets diagnosed. I sent a message out. I think you were on it, and it was 20 individuals on Christmas Day, how I had missed 4 Christmases during my service, mm-hmm. And how awesome it is and how nice it is to have family and be here and so on. And by the way, I reunited with my fiance after 30 years, saw her for the 4th time, November of 2024. And that love is that same love that sometimes we as veterans try to find in a partner, mm-hmm. which can be dangerous, right? Right. So that camaraderie can't be found in a partner. I'm referencing another type of love, but full circle. I send that message out on Christmas. I get some responses saying, "Hey, Doc, what you wrote really hit me off. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for your service. I still don't know what to say. And he was a non-veteran. Jim reaches out to me and he says, Doc, do you need anything? Right?
Yep.
As if he knew. All I knew that at the time was Folds of Valor, another great program that focuses on scholarships for your kids and so forth.
Yep.
And he was a part of 777. I responded on a private text and I said, I could use 2 cords of wood. It's freezing out here. And Jim, unfortunately, my fiance was just diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And he goes, Doc, you do remember that I have funded the largest private thyroid cancer facility in the world at University of Michigan. I believe it's the Punya Foundation. I lost composure. I called him on the phone. Within 8 days, we had an appointment to get seen here. In Florida, she would have been seen March 22nd, and this is December 25th.
Right.
She had the most aggressive type. She has now had full thyroidectomy. She has had radioactive iodine, which is why I'm here now. And had it not been for that catalyst of events, giving versus taking, trying to use a skill set to better myself. And these are the fundamentals that Eric's talking about that we learn in Semperfi Odyssey. We're just taking what you already know and fine tuning it.
Mm-hmm.
The love part, and I don't want to get all, focused on the love that I have for Jill and so forth. But
right.
The love is very similar to that decision to get out of the military. Cancer forced me out. There's a reason for everything. There are no coincidences. There are some ironies in life. Good to go. But why we are here today is to talk about, and for me, to talk about the programs that are available. But for me, to thank Jim, to thank Eric for the opportunity to better myself. I'm sitting here with a brother who has told me about how to get better, and I did. And I got a little emotional talking about my guys, but grounding techniques, that's fine. You can do
Part of the transition.
right.
And we're coming up on Memorial Day. Memorial Day is a special day that all of us veterans remember those brothers that fell with us, our sisters. Those guys that signed that check, that died for our country. And a lot of civilians don't understand what the difference is between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that. I mean, Memorial Day is for remembrance of our fallen comrades.
Right. Make it your own. To each their own.
Yeah.
I look at my grandfather, who was in Bastogne and St. Vith and Malo and the Rhine River and Ardennes. He was D-Day plus 18. Yogi Berra was his AAV driver. Gentlemen like Dan Pultz and General Tom Jones, Battle of Getlin's Corner, the Major Schweitzer and the things that he's done with Three Most recently at the LLC, what he did in the first Gulf. And we talk about Fallujah and the Battle of Fallujah and in Afghanistan. My goodness, how we left our Vics there.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get political, but I will say, I remember the time that I had with my guys. And I get together with them, and we can go to a parade, we can go to a bar, we can be responsible. But we talk about how we miss the fun moments, the celebration of life. Because our brothers that are no longer with us, they don't want us to go and live any other way than our best. Be our best version of ourselves. And that's, how I view it, is to ensure that I look at why did I do what I did? Why did you do what you did? What was your inspiration to go in the military? That's how I look at Memorial Day.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more with that. You know, like my platoon sergeant that got killed,
Sure.
you know, he would not want us to be in depression or sadness because of what happened to him.
Yeah.
You know, he put his life on the line, as we all did, and he paid the ultimate sacrifice to, you know, make sure our kids have their freedoms, to have their liberties.
Yeah.
You know, and it took me years to figure out that our guys that died wouldn't want us to be the way I was being, right? And so there's a lot of veterans out there over the next week and a half that are really going to be struggling with remembrance of our fallen comrades. And, you know, this next weekend is what hits home for any guy who served in a combat zone that's lost friends.
Right.
And even if they haven't lost friends, the military that they're a part of, you know, I mean, you're talking over 7,000 guys from Iraq and Afghanistan, over 60,000 guys from Vietnam, you know, and we talk about World War I, World War II, you know, and that camaraderie aspect, the Corpsman Compass, a True North, Warfighters United.
Sure.
That's something that we all have in common. And so if you're a veteran out there that's having some issues over the next week and a half,
reach out.
You know, reach out to your friends, you know, give a phone call. Say, hey, man, I was thinking about you.
Eric's on my safety plan. Safety plan can be established or not. I'm good to go. But Eric's on my safety plan.
That's one of the things
Sergeant,
General Jones teaches us how to do.
Sure.
You know, make a fire team of guys that you trust, love, respect, and honor.
Check.
And these are the guys, and make sure these guys will hold you accountable too, because that's a key component. That check is a key component. That check that you're giving those guys on your fire team, make sure they'll hold you accountable.
What we're talking about here is General Jones runs a tight ship, and when you go there, I mean, you get 3 meals, and I'm telling you, they're phenomenal. And he has a great staff. You get a place to stay for 7 days. This check that we're talking about is an actual physical check. And you go there and you learn the principles of MEPS, which is ultimately the ability to set a goal, carry out that goal, hold yourself accountable, and then share that goal with other people.
No, don't worry. And he'll make you do knees to knees, eyeball to eyeball.
That's what I'm getting to, brother.
You know?
So check it. So you go through 7 days, and it's not, I mean, you know, I was there once, right? And a master gunnery sergeant, we go around the room, we say, hey, what did you learn, right, in the military? Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Master gunnery sergeant stands up, like, I'm from Livonia, you know, Michigan, right? And, you know, I learned about leadership and how to be a good leader, and love my Marines, hoorah, sits down. And then there's true story. And then there's a Lance Corporal that stands up, and he goes, I learned how to not to silence the alarm, and sat down. And he said, where I'm from doesn't matter because we're all from the same place. I was speechless. General Jones goes, make sure he's a team leader. Grab him. I want his information. Because that is the problem right there. Like, don't silence the alarm. Alarm. I'm working on my speech,
Come on,
right?
Boston.
So my point is, at the end of this, I mentioned that because it's impactful, bro. So at the end of this 7 days, like on the 7th day, like you're getting ready to go home, logistics, you're sitting there and you're knee to knee, eyeball to eyeball with the general. And you have to write a check, and he'll focus on the action verbs of the preamble, FEPS, right? To form a more perfect union. Oh boy. Establish. Let me see if I remember these. Establish for the common defense. Ensure domestic tranquility. Promote for the common welfare. Provide and secure.
Yes.
I will be reprimanded for not knowing those last two in their entirety, brother. But here's what I'm saying. At the end of that, you're empowered.
Yes.
You're going to Flight 93.
Right? And you know what the best thing about Flight 93 is?
Bro.
So Flight 93, where that plane went down on 9/11, you know, a lot of our guys that, you know, joined in 2000, 2010,
Right.
2014. They went to Iraq and Afghanistan and wondered,
With MRAPs.
I don't know why I'm here.
Right.
Right? Like they don't put what happened to September 11th, because many of those guys 10, 15 years later did not join because of 9/11. Not like when you and I are in. I mean, I joined right up after 9/11 happened. I was in boot camp in March of 2002.
Yeah, we
Right?
all know where we were, and that will never.
And so for those guys, especially the guys that got injured, in Afghanistan later on,
check.
And they're like, well, what we were there for? When they go out and see Flight 93 and General Jones takes the whole group out there, and there's all those names on the wall of those Americans that were innocent, that the Taliban and in fact, it was just Osama bin Laden's death kill date last month. What they did to us really took a lot from America.
Yeah.
And because of that, guys like us stood up. But those veterans that, 10 years later, they don't put that together. And when they actually do, that gives them purpose.
Right.
That gives them meaning of that their injuries or loss is not forgotten, right?
You'll never see the man in front of me or myself sit there and talk about a battle that we were in. We know what we've done. I know what I've done. He knows what he's done. I respect this man more than you will ever be able to fathom. I'll tell you that straight. I look at what's happening now, and again, I'm not going to get political, but it's frustrating because we talk about Vietnam. And we talk about why that war was why that war was had. We talk about what we're doing in Fallujah. We have so many different religious groups and civil uprising. And it's hard when your ROEs are go and do this, and then they change the next day. Trying to change the concept of civil uprising. Trying to push through the city versus win hearts and minds. So I value and envy all veterans, for their service. But what we had done at the time was answer the call. It's a duty. Thank you for your duty sounds better than thank you for your service, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, what I'm focusing on moving forward is taking that documented biography that person, that veteran has, and I'm looking at it and I'm piecing it apart, and I'm going to reference you and trusted resources that you and other people have recommended, or places that I've gone. And that's the important piece to giving and spreading the word. How do you give your idea to another person? Mm-hmm.
And that's what Corpsman Compass, the true north. And so, anybody who's out there that sees this video or is listening on Apple, iHeart, and all those places, corpsmanscompass.org.
No, so Corpsman, that would be dvuf.org.
Oh, okay.
At the time, I still do work with DVUF. I do work with for of those that served, 214 Hero, 4TTS.org. I advocate mostly for 22 Project, Semper Fund, Semper Odyssey. Again, man, I'm digressing because I don't want to talk about me so much in this situation, but I do in a way want to introduce this. So tomorrow I will be launching officially Corpsman's Compass. So it is JDoc, Juliet, Delta, Oscar, Charlie, JDoc at corpsmanscompass.com. That is the website. I am not a VSO. I function based on a retiree from the Department of Veterans Affairs. I have established programs for burial benefit programs. I've established programs for computers for veterans. All of the programs that VA doesn't have. We have grants and funding that are for computers. We have a first responder program, a military sexual trauma program. And if you're a spouse of a veteran and your veteran passes away, and I sure as heck hope that doesn't happen this next week, if you're in crisis, please reach out. I don't care if you call me. 02. I don't care if you call me 24/7. Please reach out. I don't care if I know you or not. I'll post my number. My point is that do you know does a spouse know what to do, Eric, if you die tomorrow?
I know mine does, but that's just because I made it that way because I'm friends with you.
Got you, brother. But that's it, though.
But I know there's a lot of people that don't.
God willing.
And, this weekend being a special weekend, at the end of this video, we're going to be posting up some pictures of the guys that not only died with me, but the guys that died with Doc. And, we just want to let their families and any of our fallen comrades' families know that their loss is never forgotten. Their loss stays with us. And we don't need, I tell you what, our Vietnam guys that fought before us, our World War I, World War II, all of those guys that died for our country to give us the freedoms that we have today is the same mission that Jon and I have for the guys who are coming back 10 years from now. That are serving now, that get out 10 years from now. We are going to help carry the way. Warfighters United, Corpsman Compass, A True North, in Semper Fi Fund, America's Fund, 22 Project, Semper Fi Odyssey. All these programs we've been mentioning over the last 45 minutes are all programs to help our veterans and our military move forward after they get out of service, to make sure that they can be the best parts of themselves, to lead that way forward, to show our younger youth, what it's like to be a military and to serve their country and protect the freedoms that we have. Because without our military, America has nothing.
Love it, man. I want to just add a couple thoughts here to what you had just mentioned. When Eric reached out, there was a packet of information about VA compensation, about what Corpsman Compass does. Corpsman Compass in itself is in its infancy, but the work that I do and I've done and Eric is discussing is not by any means in its infancy. In fact, we have a vast network. So reach out, comment if you want to see something specifically. If you want us to talk about something, let's keep this going, because these are interrogatives. This is commentary that we would be having on the G6 range or out in Post 5 or OP Blazer, whatever the case may be, just coking and joking with the guys. So if you're a veteran, right, or if you're a spouse of a veteran and you want to talk, you want to get down and dirty, you want to find out, hey, is there a program for, acupuncture, right? Is there can I go to a hyperbaric oxygen program down in Florida? Let us know. Post what you want to see, and we'll format it around, whatever that may be.
Right. And for all these places that we're talking about, you can go to warfightersunited.com. That is going to be the place where you're going to have hyperlinks to every one of these programs. So where you can go to their network, you can apply online, you can do most anything. There is such a slew of information on both of these networks that, if we don't know an answer and you contact us, we will find it. You can go to warfightersunited.com. You can email me at warfightersunited.podcast@gmail.com. Warfighters United just became a nonprofit. And so if you're looking for somewhere to donate, Warfighters United, we don't keep any of the money. There is no advertisement overhead. What we do is we take that money and we help veterans. We put it into programs or getting guys into programs, and we don't keep any of it. This is veteran helping veterans, military helping military, family helping family, and brother helping brother.
Eric, what you've done, I'm gonna tell you, even though I'm from Boston area, I'll tell you, what you've done out here is phenomenal. Just hearing about Warfighters United, I think so Gunny Pop, he did
He was my episode 5.
5. I think I was 3, and then Alex said, come on, 22 Project.
Number 6.
My point is that, like, it's a Rolodex. Many people don't know what a Rolodex is, but it's kind of like an address book. And, you got to have a fire team no matter where you go. And so I would really like to hyper focus on what Eric just said. That's him putting himself out there. 603-660-2611. If you're in crisis, that's my cell phone. Call Doc, because even though I didn't serve with you, I'm still your corpsman. And there's no greater bond than that of a corpsman and a Marine. Hoorah!
Hoorah.
Man, I
Except
love
for
you,
Phi
dog.
Dallas, brother.
Except for Phi, man.
Let me get a unit to FDR 112. Shots fired.
Control! Aircraft down!
Man down, I'm bleeding out. There's no time, so please hear me out. These are the last few words that I'd like to say to you all. This is my last call. Tell my wife I love her and that I won't be home tonight. Thank her for those long, hard years that we tried to get it right. And tell her I'll be waiting after she makes it through it all. This is my last call. But ask her to forgive me. Tell her I'm sorry. That I can't be the man that she's gonna be. Tell her I'll be waiting where the winter meets the fall. This is my last call. And tell my children that I love them. Oh yeah, that daddy always loved them so. And tell them to hold their mother tight and to never let her go. And tell them I'll always be watching, looking over them through it all. This is my last call. Tell him to fight for me. Do what's right for me. Choose the light for me. But don't ever forget me. Tell them I'll always be watching, and I'll be there when they fall. This is my last call. For those who serve beside me and who held that thin blue line, stand tall, stand strong, and hold your head up high. I'm sorry I let you down today, but please know I gave my all. This is my last call. So raise a glass for me. And kick some ass for me. Ring a bell for me. Send a flag to hell for me. I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save them all. This is my last call. Yeah, I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save my own. This is my last call.
All units, stand by for a special announcement. Emergency traffic only.
11:45. Prince William calling, 1145. This is the final call for 1145. Officer Ashley Gwendon, end of watch, February 27th, 2016. May you rest in peace.